If you just downloaded the game Tears of Themis, it can be a bit overwhelming to figure out what to do. There's so many things on the home screen alone, and while the game does attempt to explain things, most of it seems to be a learn-as-you-go type of thing. But don't worry, we're going to go through a step-by-step introduction for all the basics that will help you in enjoying this truly amazing game. Compared to those who've been playing for a year or more, I'm probably a lower level than them, but when I went looking for guides, I couldn't find almost any. And the one or two that I did find, I couldn't quite understand them. So I decided to make my own basic, but also the most helpful guide, including a battle guide that we'll talk about near the end. So, what is Tears of Themis? In their official website, they describe the games as this: Stellis, a city that rose from the clash of civilization. Modern tech has given it its radiant neon lights, but also cast long shadows of obscurity. Lately, there has been an abnormal increase in the number of mental illness cases, as well as incidents that threaten Stellis' social security. Many gentle and good people of Stellis have somehow grown violent and volatile. These incidents may have been recorded, but they are often drowned out in a flood of data, yet someone took notice of them and compiled them for a detailed analysis. Codename X-Note, the project aims to peel away layers of obscuring data and reveal the hidden truth beneath. When all is put on the scales of the law before Lady Justice, you'll be the one to weigh their crimes in the balance. Now, you might be thinking, wait, what? I thought this was a dating game. And you would be correct. It is an Anomaly game, but it's a much slower romance than others, such as Love in Deep Space, which is also amazing too, by the way. In my opinion, this actually helps Tears of Themis make the romance feel more natural. The guys aren't automatically in love with you, with the exception of most likely Luke, as he is your childhood best friend, so it feels almost natural and like it's happening in real game time. Your character is Miss, and later on chooses the codename Rosa, and you're a lawyer at Themis law firm. You solve cases with the other male leads in the game, and each chapter seems to focus on one guy more than the other. One question that pops up a lot is if you can or should main more than one guy, and I say, yay, go for it. It doesn't affect the main story in any way, as that focuses on the thriller and mystery part of the game, basically solving crimes and catching a killer in each chapter. The love interest story chapters, Blossom, Sweet, and Dearest, are where most of the romance is at. Most people have their favorites and only pull for those since, as you progress further, it can be harder to get enough S-chips, which is the currency for pulling a card. If you read all the card stories and main story chapters, you can get a lot of S-chips that way, so at each event you can get at least 10 pulls. Some of us main only one guy, so that we only pull for their cards, and that way we save our S-chips for that character's events. And that just essentially saves us from having to spend real life money, especially if we're unable to get a card that we want. You can read the card stories on the official wiki. It's really helpful if you know where to look. I'll link it in the description. So when you first log into the game, you're sent to the login screen that's in your event page. You get rewards each time you sign in, so it's easy to do this. If you scroll at the bottom, you'll see other events like the Playful Reveries. This will show you a task to complete, and once you have, there will be a little mark above rewards. Each level will give you something, whether that's currency or items you need to involve a card. Level 10 and 20 even give you 50 S-chips each. On the home page, there's the event tag that will also show a little mark if you complete a task and have rewards waiting for you. Before leaving this page though, scroll through those events on the bottom and go through them so you're not missing out on rewards. Like right now they have Playful Memories and Chimes of Yesterday, which you really only have to sign into to get. Now we're on our home screen. The order that you do things is totally up to you. There's no quote-unquote right way to do things. I'm going to show y'all how I do it, just for simplicity's sake. So first, go to the 4 squares that are on your left and click them. This will have notifications and messages from the game, and the middle one is for your friends. Clicking on it will give you red hearts. I believe it's 20 hearts for each friend that you have, and every time you level up, it seems you're allowed to get a new friend as well. Those hearts can be used to redeem for items that you might need to level up cards in either their number or their skills. So just click Claim All each time you log in and get those hearts. I do it a few times a day just to make sure I get all of them, but you can do whatever works best for you and your schedule. Now back onto the home screen. You have the mall, which gives you everything you can buy. Fair warning, some of the items will have the little mark that won't go away until you click on it, and it will take you to the purchase payment option, which you'll have to cancel out of. It's a little annoying, so I've been ignoring it for the most part. At the very top, you see your level, and clicking on it will show you your information, such as how many cards you have, your inventory, and more. The background of this and your home screen is called an invitation, so that's what it means when there are tasks that say to collect a certain amount of invitations. And that was something that confused me when I first began. Following that path, the circle with the hand and heart inside is where you'll find the male lead's own stories, and where you can level up your affection with them. Just tapping anywhere will give you points, and each tap or movement has a line from the guys that can actually be pretty cute. The little game controller on the bottom right lets you play cards or rock, paper, scissors with the guys, and the hanger lets you change clothes. Though so far, those have to be bought unless there's an event that gives them away. Below the hand and heart on the home screen, you have the pink mobile phone, which is where you will see all your text messages and video calls from the guys. There will be a red notification dot on one of the guys, or the texting box if you've missed something, so don't worry too much about that. At the bottom, we have FOF, or Field of Flowers, which is an easy way to get S-chips and collect rewards, though it does take time. In the Dreamscape archives, you pick a card and the flowers grow from the pond. The nectar fills up, and at 100% you complete that dreamscape and then can choose another card to do. I actually like this one so far. It's kind of relaxing in a weird way. Or at least it is to me. Next to Visions, we have the NXX Headquarters. Looking at it, there's a lot, but it's actually pretty simple. In Resource, just click on it and claim the rewards you get before letting it run again. This will be just passively running in the background, so you don't have to worry about it too much. Below it is the file room, which you can basically do the same for. Just set up the cards and let it run before claiming it and letting it run again. And don't worry about the cards you choose. You can still use whatever cards you want in other areas. The file room doesn't affect them like that. The study room will help you raise your strength or defense of your cards in battle. You can pick which ones you want as long as you've reached that level. The circle with the cube inside shows you what level your headquarters are in. Each time you level up, upgrade, or evolve a card, this will give you points here. It'll show you how many you have and how many you still need. On the table next to the guys is the NXX OS folder. This is basically a review of what chapters you've done and the characters and cases you've already met and ran. You just click and the little mark goes away. Back onto the home page next to NXX is the Stellis and Fieldwork button. For Stellis, just go to Task and click Track. This will have the arrow lead you to exactly where you need to go, and you really just have to follow directions. Fieldwork is essentially the same. Clicking Legal Aid lets you pick an area like Waterfront or Orchard Shine, which are Artem and Marius' areas, and you'll do battle there and raise your skills. The case reports you get can also be exchanged for items you might need. You just have to click on it and then decide what you want. Right now, we have the Dream Diaries event going on, so that we can go into that and play the games they have for us. This one has actually been really cute. Each area has a different minigame, so I haven't gotten bored or annoyed with it yet. And the conversations with the guys are really sweet. In pretty much everything, I've been rotating between Artem and Marius, as I still can't pick a main. I'm a sucker for blue eyes, and then Marius reminds me of another love interest in a TV show that I had a huge crush on, so I kind of keep going back and forth. Each guy seems to have their own sweet moments, so you can take your time to figure out who you prefer. For instance, in Chapter 4, when Rosa and Marius have to jump out of the window and he catches her, that was it for me. I thought I could ignore Marius, but that moment was just perfection. Okay, finally, let's get to the meat of everything. The main story, your cards, and the battle guides. I'll start with the cards and battle guides as it's a pretty easy jumping off point. So each card has an emotion attached to it. The blue diamonds are logic, green triangles are intuition, and red hearts are empathy. Pretty basic, right? For a basic and pretty good deck, go with 5 of each in your deck. It'll help keep you balanced. In those debate battles, you can choose auto battle, which honestly, I've pretty much done the entire time so far. But as you progress further, you might want to choose your own, especially if you need more than 5 or one of the colors. Each card you can enhance or level them, evolve up to 100, raise their skills, which all have different ones that can help. For a starting point, layer by layer is considered a good one to focus on. And then story, which is just as it sounds. Listening and watching it will give you S chips, so don't miss out on those. If you have a card that isn't fully involved, it will show you what you need, how many, and by clicking on it, it also shows you where to get it, which is where those hearts you get from your friends can come in handy, though I usually use those on the enhanced chips. For the actually colored chips, let's just go with this one right here. I need blue logic chips and yellow logic chips, and you get those by clearing study levels, so let's head over to that. If you've already done it before, you can just repeat it and still get rewards, no problem. Just click rewards. Backing out of this takes you to the study page, which is where you can get materials like the currency, chips, and items needed for leveling up each guy by doing debate battles. Just note that some of them are only available on certain days of the week. And remember, the study room, which is in the NXX Headquarters, will help you raise your strength or defense of your cards in battle. To the left of that tab is the Story tab, which is pretty self-explanatory. Just follow the conversation, and you'll get S-chips for it. If a debate is too tough, you can wait and level up to make it easier. You don't have to be at that number exactly, or even higher up to win though. I've done it at a lower overall deck power. That's where the study room and the NXX comes into play. You can choose a stronger offense and defense, as well as lower the time between, so that you can potentially make 2 arguments, before your opponent even makes 1. Next to the Story tab is Anomaly, which is where you can battle for rewards, and even some levels have shards of cards in them. On the right, we have the Event tab, which is where you can do the Trials of Themis or Temple of Trials. You can get 300 S chips from doing this each week for the Temple of Trials, and the trials give you multiple things depending on the level. For the OWL one, those, by the way, the Tears of Themis website can actually give you an answer to them. Now, the other tab is the Past, which are basically past events. This one is harder to do or complete if you're a new player, as there aren't very many guides for them out there. You can do a search, but it's mostly just opinions on it instead of a guide itself. For a love poem to Skadi, there's a guide in the mansion that can help out immensely when I was doing it. Doing these also give you rewards. Essentially, everything you do gives you a reward that can help you in different ways. I'm doing them one at a time, so a love poem is my current past event. You're basically running errands for townspeople by clicking on town jobs and accepting whatever job they give you. The area you'll have to go to will have a red mark on where you need to go. Basically guides you right there where you need to go and what to do. I found this as one of the easier events, other than where the mansion is, since you have to have the right guide with you to complete it. If I can find the guide again, I'll link it in the description. So there you have it, a bare bones explanation for any beginner in this game. The more you play, the more fun it is. I like seeing where the main story is going, and the Blossom chapters with your chosen characters are just really cute. If you want a more in-depth guide on anything, like the past events or the battle guides, let me know in the comments below. As always, keep smiling. Bye!